All right, here's a couple of questions that deal with linear functions. Number of crimes occurs in a city per 1,000 people decreased from 46.5 and then to 45.3 in 1980. What was the average rate of change in the number of crimes per 1,000 people during that time? So average rate of change in the number of crimes per 1,000 people. So during that time. So average rate of change. So this one I would be doing a slope formula for. So if they're looking for a rate of change, it'll be a slope formula. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now here, I would be tempted just to write this as x1, y1, x2, y2. And I think that's probably okay, but they're looking at the rate of change per number of crimes. I think that in the answer anyway, if you had done it this way, I think that that would have been okay. But I think in the answer, they want the 1920, the time, to be the x value, and the change, or the 46.5 and 45.3 is the y value. So let's change this. So this will be y1, x1. This will be y2. This will be x2. So slope formula, y2 is going to be 45.3 minus y1, 46.5, divided by x2, 1980, minus x1, 1920. Okay, so if I subtract these, what does that give me? 1.2 over, subtract these, I think that's 60. So now divide those two and you get 0 point something, and that'll be your rate of change. You could probably leave it like this. I guess to get rid of that decimal on top, you could have multiplied the top by 10 and the bottom by 10. So you could call it 12 over 600. Oh, and 4 goes into both of those. Oh, 12 goes into both of those. So it'd be 1 over 50, I think. So you could have changed it to decimal, or you could have made it as a fraction. Here's another question. It says, suppose while driving a car sees, oh, and they give you this formula right there. So that's the function, braking distance. So they say, what is the slope? Well, the slope, the equation looks like y equals mx plus b. So that thing in front of the r is going to be your slope. So the slope is going to be 21 over 20. Then they say, oh, it's either A or B. Okay, it's going to be A. Slope's that. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I had to make a quick call. So if that's the function, then in section B, they say find these values, given that that is your function. So if my function is d of r is equal to 2120 times r plus 3/4, so they say, what is d of 15? And what they're asking then is to plug in a 15 everywhere you see an r, and then solve. Okay, so you could multiply and add this together. I'm just going to do it quick. 5 will go into there, 4 into there, 3. So it'll be 63 over 4 plus 3 over 4. And if you add that, that'll be 66 over 4, which you can simplify by 2's, I think. So it'll be 33 over 2. Or I think that's 16 and 1/2. And if you do it with fractions, just with your calculator, you'll get that. Okay, and then all these other ones, you do the same thing, just plug that number in. Then later it says, what's the domain of this function? So the domain refers to what are all the possible x values. In this case, here's where the x is, but my function has an r there. So they're saying, what are all the possible rates of speed? So if you're doing this test, what kind of speeds could you use? So Probably the function doesn't work if you're not going anywhere, or you have no speed. Like if they say the braking distance, but you're not going anywhere. So I'd probably say that your speed has to be greater than zero, and like it couldn't be a negative, I don't think. I guess you could go backward and then brake, but I think well, they're talking about an animal standing in front of you, not behind you. So the negatives we couldn't use. So positive number I could use, and I don't think I can use zero. And then zero up to however fast a car can go. Um, Probably in the answer key they say infinity, but I don't think cars can go infinity. So I would say, like my car, I'd go from zero to, I don't think I've had my car over 140. Okay, and so you can't include zero, so you put a curly bracket there, and it could be more than 140. This number would be, could change. All right, hopefully that helps with those questions in 1.3.